Hello, everyone. How are you? Welcome to Let's Talk News. If you've landed here, I am your host, Leticia Remauro. And boy, we have too much to talk about tonight, unfortunately. Um, this is just crazy what's going on in DC today with these National Guard. The shooting of the two National Guard. Actually, he wanted to shoot more than the two. Um, but he only got two, and they're fighting for their lives right now. And I don't know if you all know that they finally have information about the guy, and oh my gosh, he was an illegal migrant. Hello, Mama, how are you? Good to have you. Hello, Francine, good to have you. Uh, yeah, so it was an illegal migrant from Afghanistan that overstayed his visa when Joe Biden let him in. Hello, Andrew Dorman. Good to have you with us. Hello, Angela. Praying for those two guardsmen. Yeah, it's remarkable that the Democrats are out there. People are protesting. They're you know doing all this crap in front of ICE facilities. They're doxing ICE agents. They're acting as if the Trump administration is focusing and tormenting just black and brown people, and trying to get rid of them out of the country, when the fact is that it's exactly this type of person that ICE is targeting, to get out of the country. And unfortunately, they haven't gotten to him yet. And it may have something to do with the fact that these idiots, these useful idiots, are just blocking them every step of the way. And I, for one, I'm sick of it. And of course, the seditious six, they have blood on their hands in this one, because things that you say have consequences. And that viral video basically was undermining the National Guard and what they're doing, why they were in DC. Every day they undermine ICE agents. I wonder how they could even just live with themselves. I don't understand it. But it was the same. It was the same when the migrants were coming into the country. Remember, the Democrats and the news media, they refused to say that they were coming into the country. It was only once Adams actually admitted that they were coming into the country. That was the only time that we started hearing about it on news stations other than Newsmax and CNN. Hello, Colleen. Happy Thanksgiving Eve to you. Hello, Professor. We're happy to have you tonight. We're sad under the circumstances. It's absolutely crazy. I'll share the screen, and we'll read a little bit together about the suspect, in case anybody didn't know. Suspect in the recent Washington, D.C. National Guard shooting has been identified as Manullah Lakhanwal, a 29-year-old Afghan national who entered the U.S. in 2021. So that was 5 years ago, or 4 years ago. So when he was 24-ish. He was paroled into the country under Operation Allies Welcome, a temporary authorization for humanitarian reasons or a significant public benefit, which does not provide a direct path to permanent residency or official migrant immigration status. It is currently unclear if he had overstayed his authorized period or had any pending immigration applications, and the investigation into his legal status and motives is ongoing. That is untrue. They have identified him. He came in under Biden and Operation Allies Welcome. He did overstay his that allowed time, and he doesn't have an application for citizenship pending. Lakhanwal did ambush two National Guard members near the White House on November 26, 2025, critically injuring both. He was shot and taken into custody at the scene and is currently not cooperating with investigators. Authorities are investigating the shooting as a possible act of terrorism. So just like when the migrants were coming into the country, they just give you half the story. You can see on X, there's live time. Also, the New York Times is updating live time. I just can't pull them up for some reason. Our internet is a little bit tough today for some reason. I guess because everybody's home or traveling, or I don't know. But at the end of the day, this is exactly what we don't need in this country. We don't need people undermining our government. And that's exactly what he was there to do, undermine the government. And I'm sure we're going to find that this was part of a bigger group. Hello, Lucille. How are you? Good to have you. So what do you all think about this? I mean, have you read? Have you watched? Did you hear? Do you know? I'm not sure if the chat is lagging or if you're all just so interested in what I have to say that you're all being quiet. But I go back to the Seditious Six and what we had said on this show originally, which is when you tell or insinuate that the President of the United States is giving illegal orders to troops, then you are undermining the chain of command in the military. And who is watching for that? Putin is watching for that. The Ayatollah is watching for that. Maduro is watching for that. And that's scary stuff. That's scary stuff because now war and power is a matter of moves on the board, chess moves on the board. Who has more military might? Who is more willing to do something outrageous? Who's willing to use nuclear weapons? Who has more artillery? Who could put troops on the ground? Yada, yada, yada. When our military is in chaos, or anything in our country, our system is in chaos, like it was when they shut the government down. That was a perfect opportunity for our enemies to strike. If the government is shut down, then it takes the ability to move quickly. Takes a whole nother form. There has to be an emergency declared, and the president then gets the power to actually move to defend the country. But that could have certainly happened in the 40 days that we were closed. And this is the kind of irresponsible behavior that the Democrats are showing us. And I really am getting concerned about it because I feel like, look, the Democrat Party is not my party, but that doesn't mean that I think all Democrats are crazy or traitorous or, incompetent. I have known some very fine Democrats in my lifetime, and I believe, other than his philandering, Bill Clinton was a decent president. There have been good Democrat presidents throughout history. So why all of a sudden, I mean, Chuck Schumer, before he lost his marbles, Schumer was, a cogent, competent, senator. We had him oftentimes in Staten Island, at functions. So what is going on with them now? How did it become that they are willing to have 6 veterans, whether military veterans or intelligence officers, put their neck out there to insinuate that the president is giving unlawful orders, which just reverberates throughout the ranks and causes chaos and concern? How is it that we have every single Democrat in the House voting against a CR that they had voted for time and time again under Biden, and then moves over to the Senate and almost every Democrat votes against it. How? How could we have this type of irresponsibility, especially when we all know the government was shut down for no reason? Well, no reason except for they thought that it would help them to win an election. And maybe or maybe not, they were right. I don't know, because ultimately they won back blue seats, and maybe gains in Virginia, in the House, a supermajority, and lost the supermajority in Mississippi. Shall we attribute it to the fact that the government was shut down? Possibly. But if we do that, if we attribute it to that, then it just shows that that was the reason for them shutting down the government, exposing 330 million Americans to the possibility of hostility that could not be managed because government wasn't functioning. That, to me, that's traitorous. They are all good when asleep. Democrats, I get you. Yeah, well, I don't see what's happening here. It's either that they've all lost their mind, they're all on the take. But I don't believe that, because it's really, really, really hard to pull off a conspiracy, or a coordinated effort like that and keep it a secret. I mean, unless you have collusion with the media, which they do have. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're all being paid off. But all of them, I mean, how could you raise your hand and say, I'm going to protect the country, and then sell it out for your own personal gain? Everybody, every Democrat member, and the Republicans that all left or are threatening to leave, I'd throw into that mix too. Is it possible? I think it's odd. I think that the odds are that wouldn't happen. So the next thing that I have to figure is that they're really afraid that Donald Trump is going to destroy the country. Or maybe they're afraid that Donald Trump is going to destroy government as they know it. Maybe they're afraid that Donald Trump is going to wake up the people. They're woke, but maybe Americans will be awake as Donald Trump is president, because that's what happened in the first term. That's what's happening now. That's been what's going on over the 10 years. I don't know, but I do know that is very, very concerning, that people are willing to risk their good name. They're willing to risk their reputation, their career. They're willing to risk everything to get Trump. I just can't understand the motivation for that. And I mean, speaking of people who are willing to risk things, Fani Willis, right? They got her to bring that case in Georgia, the racketeering case against Trump. And today, the case was thrown out. Watch. Well, I guess I better push the button first. Now you can watch.
Georgia prosecutor officially dropped the historic racketeering case against President Trump and others for attempting to overturn the 2020 presidential election. I want to go right to CNN's Kara Scannell. What are you learning, Kara?
Good morning, Pam. Yeah, this new filing in from the prosecutor who had taken the place to look into the Fulton County investigation of Donald Trump and others has filed a motion with the court saying that they are not going to move forward with the case. They're dropping the charges. What he filed what's known as a nolle pros, and that means that in theory, because if the statute of limitations hasn't run out, a case could be refiled. But he attached to his filing about a 20-page statement explaining his rationales for why he did not think that they should move forward with this case. You'll remember this was the case that began with Donald Trump making a call to the Georgia Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, urging him to find the votes. And then District Attorney Fani Willis brought this historic investigation and filed those racketeering charges against Donald Trump and and dozens of others for interfering with the 2020 election. She was then disqualified from the case because of an undisclosed romantic relationship with another prosecutor. And that is how this case now fell into the hands earlier this month of a prosecutor who was assigned the job of trying to find someone to take on this case. He said that he couldn't because there were too many conflicts, and he took it on himself. Now we're seeing the results of that, and that is that he is saying that they are not going to move forward with this case. And he summarized it in part by saying that he made this decision by examining the case file, examining what the jury had been presented, and also considerations of the law. He says that, contesting an election is not unlawful, but and that is part of the reasons for why he decided not to move forward with the charges at this point. But again, this is a null pros filing, meaning that they're dropping the case right now. In theory, it could be revived if the statute of limitations doesn't run out. But of course, Donald Trump is still in office for another 3 years. Pam, this is the last of the criminal prosecutions that have been hanging over Donald Trump as he entered the White House. The only conviction that he faced out of the 4 indictments was the one in New York for the hush money payments, and that one he is appealing.
So we still have one more case there, the hush money case, which should be able to be thrown out of court very, very easily. But there was no there, right, in the racketeering. So if there was no there in the racketeering, and we know there was no there in the documents case that Tish James brought against him, I can't imagine that the hush money case is going to be any different. The appeal has got to go in Trump's favor, because that, if you remember, that judge was mugging it up for the cameras, and he did some things that should have never been allowed in court. So we'll see. They're afraid DJT will accomplish things and make them look bad for doing nothing for decades. Yeah, but really a coordinated effort because they don't want him to get things done? I don't know. I just can't see it. How does it, what the hell do they care? As long as they're in their seats, what do they care? If their district is doing better, then wouldn't they just keep getting reelected if they were working with Trump? Right? And getting things done. So, it wasn't always this way. I mean, when Clinton was in office, him and Gingrich, they cooperated fantastically. It was amazing how things went through Congress. It was really, really a great team. I'm a little mad that nothing really came out of Doge, no actions. Also, they never checked Fort Knox. Doge is still going strong. They're still doing what they have to do. Again, the guy has only been in office. This is his 11th month. There were things that had to be taken care of. And in the meanwhile, look at what they have been doing to him. They have been pushing him every step of the way. I mean, to question or to say that he hasn't done enough on any scale, to me, is a little bit short-sighted. I mean, what did Biden do, in his first year? Well, let's see. In February, he got rid of every single border security measure that Trump had. And then after that, we just watched as immigrants steadily streamed in over the border. Then he got through the Green New Scam. And then he got the, what was it called? The COVID relief package. Then he threw people out of the military if they didn't get a COVID vaccine. And then he caused inflation, and then he passed the Inflation Reduction Act, which was nothing more than spending more money and printing more money. So, in all the time that Biden was in office, we had the utter atrocity of the Afghan withdrawal, which this guy came in because of that. So that's all the things that Biden did other than embarrass America. Trump had to reinstitute all the border stuff. Trump had to get gas pumping again. Trump had to go after and expose what was going on. He had to release the Kennedy files. He had to release the K files, the Epstein files, Area 51, right? Those were released. He passed a big, beautiful bill. He got inflation going in the right direction, right? We don't have it anymore. Created jobs, trillions of dollars in economic, in tariffs and economic investments into the country. Wait, trillions of dollars in economic investments into the country, and tariffs trying to level the playing field. We just have now the drug manufacturers are lowering the cost, giving us the favored nation status. So all of the drugs will be reduced in the marketplace, not because the government is putting money into it. I think that Trump has done a lot of things. I understand that people are looking for prosecutions, but with all respect, he couldn't get Comey or Tish James on things that should have been easy to get, right? And Adam Schiff, because of the comings and goings of these prosecutors. I would say, we're not batting 1,000 when it comes to that stuff. It was the progressive movement that pushed through the 17th Amendment that shifted states' rights to Washington, D.C. Well, yeah, because up until that, I mean, we were sovereign. The states were sovereign. It's unfortunate that we wanted to grow that government, but that's where the difference, right, between a Republican democracy comes in. I mean, I'm hearing people saying, the Trump is threatening democracy. Well, I've never seen a successful quote unquote democracy. Isn't a democracy really socialism? Isn't that a code word for socialism? We are a republic, a constitutional republic. Very different thing than a democracy. I think they all think they are special and will get special treatment and get paid off. They are afraid he'll destroy their payoffs. Yeah, well, that's the thing is, once you start to expose that Washington, that the seat of government is corrupt, people are not going to be willing to send their money there. And with all respect, there's not enough IRS agents to get us all. Big, beautiful bill solving world peace, to name a few. All right, right. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Middle East, Israel, Africa, I said Middle East already. Russia, I forgot about those. Sorry. Thank you, Angela. Yeah, you always have my back, Angela. I love you. Whole idea of bicameral. Yeah. So, I think that, we were going to really talk about the winners and losers and the things to be thankful for. And I think I rattled off a lot of what we do need to be thankful for under Trump. And unfortunately, we just have a bunch of people that are not willing to say, hey, look, things are working. America's working again. And, I saw Ilhan Omar in a tweet yesterday. And, I would see if I could bring it up, but it'll take too long. But basically what she said was Trump had said that he was going to start deporting he was going to remove the refugee status of these people, which would mean that they wouldn't be citizens anymore, or they wouldn't be in line for citizenship. And so Omar tweeted, well, too bad, I'm a citizen, and so are most of the Somalis in Minnesota. So we're not going anywhere. Now it was a whole big thing about piracy and stealing money and all this, and that is why he's removing the refugee status. And she decided to become defiant and say, well, we're not going anywhere. But nowhere in there was she incensed that Somali gangs were stealing working people's tax dollars and sending them back to Somalia. Nowhere in her tweet did she say, as an American citizen, I am absolutely, I condemn what these gangs are doing. And I want you to know it's not all Somalis. It is only, these bad seeds. And I will work with President Trump to stop it. She didn't say that. It's not what she said. She said, good luck trying to get us out. That's what she said. So that doesn't sound like somebody who's putting America first. That doesn't sound like a citizen of America. That doesn't sound like somebody who's fighting for the working class. Am I crazy? Or, I would have expected her to say, on behalf of all law-abiding Somalis, we condemn what they did. Republic is what replaced the Greeks' version of democracy. Yes, yeah. I'm not diminishing what he did. I still support him. I did. If I sounded, short, and I know I probably did, I'm sorry. I am just up to here. I can't tell you how upsetting this what happened in DC today is to me. Of course, I am so upset about these two wonderful people that chose to serve our country, and this piece of crap coming after them and jeopardizing their life. I'm upset. I'm upset just to know that somebody who spends their life in service could be harmed this way. But I am 10,000 times more upset because the games the Democrats are playing is very dangerous for our country, and we're seeing it right now. And these seditious six, what they did with that viral video, I don't know if it mattered. I don't know if this guy was planning to do this because he knew that the Thanksgiving Eve was, a big day out. I don't know. But my gut tells me that this constant nitpicking, this constant prattle, acting as if he is not our president, has it up to here with me. Between Marjorie Taylor Greene, between these other assholes with Steve Witkoff, because Steve Witkoff was talking to the Russian ambassador, kind of telling him, look, if you want to get Trump on your side, you have to say these things. You have to compliment him. You have to, show you appreciate X, Y, and Z, so that he will listen to you. Now we have all these Republicans going, oh, it sounds like it was working for the Russians. No, he was doing what he was supposed to do. When you are somebody that goes out to make peace, you must play all sides. You must, cozy up to both sides and make both sides trust you. He's an envoy for the United States, and he has created peace around the world in Trump's name by doing such a thing. And for these asshole Republicans, and I don't have their names off the top of my head, to start condemning Steve Witkoff about that, get the fuck out of here. I didn't see you over there doing that shit. You've got to know that's a nuance. You have to know how to do it. Maybe she should run for Senate then. Ilhan Omar. Yeah, maybe she should. This is the first I've heard about a shooting. Did they get killed? No, they didn't get killed. They're hanging on by a thread. We played it at the top of the hour. Two National Guards, male and female National Guardsmen in DC, got shot by an Afghan refugee who came under Biden in 2021 and overstayed his welcome after the withdrawal from Afghanistan. And they are in critical condition. He got shot. He's not cooperating with the police. He got shot. And he stabbed. Not only did he shoot them, he took her gun, the female's gun, shot her at close range, and shot the other guy, both at close range, and then stabbed both in the head. He shot at others that were further away. It is appalling. They're in critical condition. Yes, Francine, that's exactly right. I've had enough. I've just had enough because they are exposing us all to harm. This is this is what has got me going now, because it is irresponsible. I mean, we didn't care for Biden, but we didn't expose ourselves to all of our enemies in our hatred of Biden. We didn't do that. We didn't do what these assholes are doing. And they have blood on their hands, and they should not sleep a wink for at least 40 nights. They should be up, and they should be wringing their hands, and they should be in horrible, horrible torture for what they're doing and what they've done for America. So as we move into Thanksgiving, we should be thankful we have a strong president. We should be thankful that we have a strong military. We should be thankful that we are smarter than the Democrats give us credit for being. And we should be thankful that we're smarter than news legacy media gives us credit for being. But for all the things that we're thankful for, we still have a long way to go. This is still the greatest nation on earth, but as long as we have people undermining it, we're going to have a problem. So I want to thank you all. I am thankful for you. I'm thankful for you giving me a reason to come on every night. I mean, we're seen only by a couple of thousand people, but at least we're keeping the conservative message out. And hopefully, I am bringing another point of view to the news. I hope you agree. And I thank you for being here with me. Very sad and despicable about the shooting, with my best wishes for full strength and healing and recovery. Thank you, Andrew. Call him what he is, an illegal animal. Yeah, he's a terrorist is what he is. And those six, that's all I got to say. Okay. I love you all. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. Happy Thanksgiving, Colleen. I'll speak to you all on Sunday. Have a great weekend.